Oh, I got such an exciting project for today. The 2025 GMC Denali. Oh, you gotta look at this thing. The factory stereo and it's pretty awesome, but we're gonna be adding some aftermarket gear to really spice this thing up. I've got two Rockford Fosgate P3 10-inch subwoofers, a 500-watt mono amp, an underseat speaker enclosure, and all the necessary wiring to make it all happen. So you've got to know this underseat storage area is out of here. Make no mistake, the factory radio in there sounds pretty good, but doesn't even compare with the power of two 10-inch subwoofers on a 500-watt amp, and we're talking all Rockford Fosgate. Oh, I can't wait to hear how this thing's gonna sound. But first, I gotta tear into the box. Oh yeah, get a look at that. Sweet. Come on, come on. I don't understand why they gotta tape this thing up like that. But yes. Oh man, it's carpet and vinyl. Oh, look at that. And it's got polyfill. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. Alright, let's see how it fits. It's not too heavy. That's the one good thing about this box is it's nice and light. I can put it in here by myself. And it looks good under the seat. Check out that fitment. Holy, it looks good. When you lift it up, you got some speaker black carpet and vinyl everywhere else, plus the GMC logo. This thing is nice. Definitely looks like it's already pre-wired too. You got a black and a red with black. Now for my favorite part, the Rockford Fosgate P3 10-inch subwoofers. Oh, these things are nice. When you want to talk about how a company gets a shallow mount speaker right, oh, you gotta see these things. The first thing I'm greeted with are these owner's manuals. I mean, they're nice, and they give you a really sweet breakdown of how the woofer is built. They'll let you know the quality that went into this build, but you gotta see this piece. Check out this subwoofer. I'm talking about, wow, that's a shallow mount. Look at the magnet on this thing. I mean, it's almost an 8-inch magnet, and it's heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it. I mean, this is just a gorgeous subwoofer. Watch, check this thing out when I get out the plastic. So what they did is they made the cone flat instead of making the basket flat. What a great idea. This means that it's the same size as a regular 10-inch subwoofer, but without all that shallow mount nonsense that most other manufacturers are doing. And these guys are so confident in the shallow mount depth that they even provide a trim ring. I mean, a trim ring for a shallow mount. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, I just love Rockford Fosgate. In a world where manufacturing has gone way downhill, these guys have kept their quality at the top of their game since the beginning. You'll never be disappointed with Rockford Fosgate products. I mean, they spend the time to do the research and development, but they also know what it takes in order to make a subwoofer pound. These guys build it right the first time. And the amplifiers don't slouch either. I'm telling you, these footprints have gotten so small, still able to put out 625 watts. I mean, that's some real power. And it comes with the built-in RCA level converter. I mean, you can't beat that. Why not have the RCA levels be built right into the amplifier? It lets the signal be processed directly on board in the amplifier, so you know the input's going to be clean, and you can dial anything in the way you need it to on the circuit board. The first piece of reference knowledge that I'm going to need is to look up what impedance this amplifier can handle. I mean, I got a dual 2-ohm 10-inch subwoofer, so I got to make sure that this amp can handle 1-ohm load. But it looks like it's only 2 ohms, so that lets me know I'm going to have to wire my amplifier in the infamously fantastic series parallel. That's going to be perfect. And since these P3s are dual 2-ohm, it means that we're going to be doing a series parallel. So is it series or parallel? Well, it's going to be a little bit of both. According to Ohm's law, circuits in series add resistance, while circuits in parallel divide resistance. Rockford Fosgate really got this right, and adding both 2-ohm voice coils in series results in 4 ohms per subwoofer. And dividing the 4 ohm loads in parallel by the 2 subwoofers that we have results in a 2 ohm output directly for the amp. It's perfect. So you better believe that results in a one-way ticket to Boomtown. And hate it or love it, we're going. So essentially what's happening here is the first voice coil is going to be feeding the second voice coil. So I'm coming out of the negative terminal on coil 1 and into the positive terminal on coil 2. You do not want to F this part up, because if you do, the coils won't work properly and the speaker will lock up. And that's the series part of the connection, making the impedance of the subwoofer 4 ohms. Next, I've got a box that's already pre-wired for parallel, in the sense that it's only got one input for both speakers. So all I have to do is feed the positive output from the amplifier into the positive of voice coil 1, and then connect the negative output from the amplifier to the negative from voice coil 2. And that's it. It's sitting at 4 ohms. Drop it down here in the box, and man, that's looking good. Oh, I can't wait to hear how this thing sounds. So at this point, it's the exact same rinse and repeat that we had to do for the driver's side here on the passenger side. But the real magic here is that when you increase the subwoofer's cone area by double, you get a 6 decibel boost in output. So you know that adding this second subwoofer is going to give me so much more power than having just one. And the Rockford Fosgate. I know this thing's going to pound. Oh yeah, and check out the fitment in this box. Sweet. This is definitely a pro level subwoofer enclosure. I mean, check that out. The voice coils are both in alignment on a completely flat baffle. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Ben, you forgot the trim ring. No, I didn't. I did not forget the trim ring. I got it right here. I just needed to make sure that it was going to fit underneath the seat and not touch the floor. But with that, I can go ahead and align the speaker the way that it'll look the best. I can screw everything down, and then I'll get that trim ring installed. Man, that looks nice. That's just a beautiful way to do a subwoofer. The only sad part is it's downfiring, so you'll never see it. But in the ongoing support to the installer, Rockford Fosgate included all the screws to screw this down and the bit that fits it. I mean, that's why I love this company. They don't make mistakes. And since that bit's long enough, I can install it directly into my drill. I'm going to go ahead and take my time and make sure that I don't strip out the wood as I screw these in. Sometimes it may seem like it takes a little bit longer, but it's better to do it right. And now I can finally go ahead and see how that trim ring is going to fit. Each one of these screws is going to be tightened down so that way it's still a little bit more support for the subwoofer. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure not to strip these out either. Man, I just can't get over the build quality on these P3s. I mean, this trim ring is made out of metal. It's a solid piece. I mean, it looks good. It's painted, it's machined, it's got the logo on it. I mean, it goes nice with the subwoofer. I mean, you just can't beat Rockford Fosgate for their quality. Next, on to the mundane but necessary part of wire routing. Most of the panels can be popped off pretty easily on this vehicle, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop these out and make sure that I got a nice channel in order to be able to route my power and speaker wires. Here on the passenger side floorboard, I remove the floor mat. I slide it underneath the truck so that way it won't get stepped on. And then you can really just pop out this sill cover. There's not much to it, just a couple of clips. You can almost do it by hand. And with that out of the way, I can go ahead and tuck back this carpet. There's 3 different grommets that are designed for access right here in the floorboard. And to remove this seat side cover panel, it's not too tough. Just lift the seat all the way up and then pull the panel towards the seat. The tabs are pointing down. You can see them right here. That looks like it'll give me plenty of access. So I just need access to the passenger side B pillar. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pop it off here. It doesn't look like it's too tough. There's definitely a handle and a seatbelt though, but with a little bit of magic, pop, it comes right off. So here inside of the B pillar, I'm going to need to locate the wiring for the door speaker here in the rear door. I decided to remove the harness plug so that way it would be easier to access, but I feel like it's probably not necessary. You can get it apart really easily with a pick tool, and really once it's unplugged, all you need is your finger and you can just trigger the latch and it'll pop right out. Yep, there's the plug right there. You can usually spot the speaker wire colors because they're spun together, but on this one it's pretty hard to tell, so that means I needed to take the door panel off. That way I could see what the actual wire colors were on the speaker. Seems like they're white and blue with black. So now all I have to do is find them here on this plug. Yep, right there they go. While I really like to solder most connections, I felt like T-taps in order to grab speaker wires is the best way to go. You can grab them right here really easily with just a pair of pliers. And so then that way all I have to do is connect a couple of male spades onto a speaker wire, and then I can run that down the B pillar and into the sill board. I use these 3M spades. I feel like they work really well. I've had good luck with them in the past, and so just crimping them down is not too tough. I'll go ahead and make sure that the crimp is completely tight though, because since this is inside of the B pillar, I sure wouldn't want it to come off while you're driving down the road. Also, it's pretty close to the seat belt, so that way you want to make sure that it's not going to get tangled up in anything when you're routing the wire. After that, I can just clip it on, and then the plug just goes right back in the door where it came from. You put on the bottom first, and then press the top into place. And since I took it off, I need to reinstall the rear door cover. I'm going to go ahead and reattach all of these plugs, and then make sure that everything lines up nicely. There are several pop clips on here, and they don't want to line up very well. You have to start by attaching the top part of the door first, and then I have to finagle this little clip right here in the back. It didn't want to go in, but I fought with it until I got it. What I realized is that once that one was in, everything else domino effect and popped right back into place. No problem. The harness in the door jamb was no sweat. You just push the bottom in and clip it into place. Even the rubber held perfectly. Now, as far as getting the speaker level output signal into the amplifier, I'm going to solder this connection. That's really because there's multiple wires that are going on to a single wire. I'll go ahead and slide down a piece of heat shrink so that way I have some watertight connection once everything is reinstalled. Again, thank you Rockford Fosgate for supporting the installer. They made this super simple. There's 4 wires here, and each one has a stripe on it, so it's easy to tell which one goes where. I'm going to be using my now infamous twist and solder technique. It works every time. Watch how clean this comes out. With a little bit of solder on there, you just gotta cook it like the books. Yup, that's why I'm the best. I tried to tell you. Even though I've tried to tell you over and over, you already know. That's why I'm the best. Ooh, nice. That's how you do it. I tried to tell you. Get a look at that one. And now there's just one more. Same thing to do here. I've got everything soldered in for that permanent connection. So now I just got to slide this piece of heat shrink up in order to ensure that everything remains solid for the longevity of the install. I can use the same torch. This is marine grade heat shrink, so it has some hot glue inside so that once it's locked down, it's going to be sealed up tight. On these GMCs, the best way to route the battery wire is through this fender flare. There's a couple of torque screws right here and here. You got to take them all out, and then you can peel that back really easily. It makes a great way to route the battery wire. Back at the passenger side floorboard, you can see the grommet we got to drill out. I'm going to use this one right here. I drill a hole just big enough to allow the 4-gauge wire to pass through it. And remember, GM Pickup's frame is dipped in black wax. So you can route the wire up through here, but remember, it will get super dirty if it touches that frame. Here it is in the fender flare. You can kind of see it just a little bit back there in the back. And pow, I'm pulling power to the back of the vehicle. No problem, I routed cleanly through that channel that we talked about and right back here into the back. Oh no, that's a mess. The Rockford Fosgate R2 500X1 is an amazing amplifier in a small footprint. It's almost palm sized, but this thing is 500 watts at 2 ohms. On the birth certificate, it showed that it was 625 watts. So you know Rockford Fosgate amps have always been known for underrating their power that they can actually output. But look how cleanly this sits in the middle of those two subwoofers. The black with the aluminum, oh, it just looks great. And here, I'm going to go ahead and find a good spot for a ground. I'm going to use this seatbelt bolt right here under the driver's side, rear seat. I've got my power and ground wires ran and routed, so now it's time to terminate the speakers. I'll go ahead and connect these right here into the speaker box, and then later on they'll be connected into the amplifier output. Once the P310s are installed in this box, it got a lot heavier. It definitely would have been more helpful to have a second person or to be able to help flip this box around. But I think with a little bit of wiggling and finagling and fighting with it, I'll be able to get it back where it needs to be. Yep, it popped into place. And oh yeah, is that looking nice. I reused the protective plastic that came with the subwoofer enclosure in order to be able to use it as a work surface while I go ahead and strip off these wires and get them ready to be terminated into the amplifier. Once everything is stripped off, I can go ahead and do a quick test fit to make sure that it's going to fit deeply enough into the amplifier and that way it's going to be a strong connection to provide power, and then again for the longevity of the system. I've decided to tin the power and ground wires so that way there'll be a nice solid block with no stray wires. It'll make it easy for the set screw and the Rockford Fosgate amp to be able to hold it down tightly. I'll go ahead and do the same thing here on the power wire. I'm only going to trim off this small amount so that way I still have some slack as a service loop for later on. Strip it off the same way. With these thicker wires, I still go ahead and use a regular wire stripper. I just gently go around it a few different times, biting into it, making sure not to go too deep. I don't want to nick the copper that's inside. And I'm going to go ahead and apply solder or tin up this power wire as well. I want to make sure that way everything stays together nice and thick. Rockford Fosgate does provide a little Allen wrench in order to be able to do this part, but I prefer to use a bit driver because I just feel like you get a lot more torque out of it, and it's more ergonomic to the hands as well. Once I have the wiring, I can make sure that they fit deeply enough, and since it does, it fits perfectly, I'm going to go ahead and torque it down. You can see that even though I torque it all the way down, that set screw doesn't even bury itself within the amplifier housing. Same thing with the power wire. I mean, this process is similar to using ferrules or any other type of connector on the outside of the wiring. I just feel like the solder is easy to do. It's worked well, and it makes sure that wire really bonds in there without any room for it to flop around or pop out, or it just makes for a better install over time. And even though it's soldered, I can still go ahead and trim it off. Similar to a ferrule, I can go ahead and get the wire length exactly as deep as I need it to be. Then, when it slides into the amplifier, it bottoms out completely. This is the best way to do it. That's the reason why I'm the best. And you need the best because if you F this part up, it's going to smoke out. And after a little bit of torque, my excitement level is building up. Man, I can't wait to see what kind of output this amplifier is going to have. I mean, it does accept a 4-gauge input, and it's supposed to be 625 watts. I know that I can go ahead and get this speaker wire installed really quickly. It just seems like this is taking forever, and I can't wait to feel the bass come off of this box. With the single speaker wire terminated and my series parallel completed, I know that this thing is getting ready. All I have to do is plug in the high level input that we connected to the door speaker and slide this switch over, and we're ready to go. Check out some of my other builds. I'm always building car audio projects, and I'd love to build yours if you're ready. This GMC battery cover was designed to accept auxiliary outputs. It's easy enough to go ahead and knock out a little chip, and then you can install the battery wire right here on the top post. It's a 10mm bolt, and it bolts right back into place. You want to make sure that this torque spec is tight, like 200 foot-pounds tight. With the battery fused and terminated, the cover snaps right back into place. Next, it's time to tune the amplifier. I know that this amplifier is really set up to put out a lot of bass, but I know you still gotta dial it in order to make sure that it sounds properly and aligns well with the factory speakers. Oh man, those Punch P3s are piping out some powerful pounding bass. I love it. Let's go ahead and see what we can dial in here on the head unit as well. Oh man, Rockford, you can really tell you guys are the king of the swing. That bass is hard and clear. Okay, so check it out. There's my final results. I got the amplifier tucked neatly here underneath the back seat. It fits under there, and the only wire that you see is just the speaker wire coming down right here. I got the ground wire installed right here on the driver's side seat bolt. And when you zoom out, man, that seat folds down nicely. Oh my goodness, the bass output, and you really didn't lose anything but your underseat storage on this one. Oh, it looks clean. You got the GMC logo. It's black with the black interior. Man, this thing is a perfect match, and it fits so well.